Michael Bloomberg is turning out to be no earthly good. Everything that is coming out about this man's past is just horrendous. And he should never, ever be trusted. No damn body changes this much. This man will say and do whatever he need to get into elective office. He is spending a fortune. And ladies and gentlemen, the more we find out about Michael Bloomberg's bigoted past, the more we need to stay away from this man. I have yet to see anything positive from this man as far as the Black community is concerned. I haven't seen one positive thing yet. And I don't believe we're going to. This is just how he and many others operate in this country when they are in a position of power. They use that power to go against us. And Michael Bloomberg, his entire past is just showing to be just that. So this came out in CNN Politics, February 13th, 2020. Michael Bloomberg said in 2008 that end of redlining was to blame for financial crisis. And y'all know what redlining is. You know, where Black people couldn't live in certain areas. And wherever white people live, that's where the property value is high. And where we live, it's not. Keeping certain groups of people out of certain areas. And the banks in this country largely responsible for that redlining. So all of your banks, your Wells Fargo, your Bank of America, your PNC, they have all practiced this, ladies and gentlemen, all of them. Okay, you may think your little community bank didn't do these things. Yes, they did. They all were in on it, all of them. Michael Bloomberg said at the height of the housing crisis in 2008 that getting rid of redlining, the bias housing practice that stopped banks from providing mortgages in low-income, largely minority neighborhoods, was to blame for the collapse. So he wants to point the finger and blame Black folks for everything. He blamed us for stopping frisk. He's blaming us for, they had to end redlining. It's those minorities, what he calls it. You know, I don't call us that. But, people like Michael Bloomberg do. Bloomberg's presidential campaign said Thursday the former New York mayor's comments, which were made at a Georgetown University forum in 2008, were meant to make the point that something bad, the financial crisis, followed something good, which is the fight against redlining. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. This man was all for redlining, just like he was all for stop and frisk in the Black and Latino community. This is all he does when he's in political power, practicing all kinds of discriminatory policies on the Black community. It all started back when there was a lot of pressure on banks to make loans to everyone, Bloomberg said at the time. Redlining, if you remember, was the term where banks took whole neighborhoods and said people in these neighborhoods are poor. They're not going to be able to pay off their mortgages. Tell your salesman, don't go into those areas. You know what? My family came out of a poor neighborhood in Philadelphia, and my father paid that home off. He paid it off in full. Bloomberg added that issues with people being unable to pay their mortgages began when Congress got involved local officials as well. They said, oh, that's not fair. These people should be able to get credit. The system don't care about us. They don't. And you're seeing it more and more. That's one thing. If nothing else, this is definitely being revealed every single day. If y'all remember the police chief that told his police officers to only target blacks, not to target whites and Asians, all this stuff is coming out. It's all coming out. It is no point in people coming and continuing to tell lies about these things. And once you started pushing in that direction, banks started making more and more loans where the credit of the person buying the house wasn't as good as you would like, Bloomberg said during the forum. By blaming the financial crisis in part on redlining, Bloomberg appears to be defending a prejudiced system that denied low income, often minority neighborhoods, access to capital and loans. See, he was defending it. That's what I'm saying. Michael Bloomberg is turning out to be nothing but a racist jerk. We should not even, if anybody in the Black community believe this man is worthy of getting our votes, think again. He's not. He's not worthy of it. He's not. He hasn't done anything. But he lost any opportunity to get the Black vote based on his past actions. And he has nobody to blame for this but himself. But see, in his mind, he walked into the Black church and he did some little BS apology for hurting so many people for years up in New York. And see, these people are really clueless when it comes down to things like that. They're going to do some of the most heinous things on you and believe some verbalized apology is good enough. It will never be good enough. What Michael Bloomberg did in that church will never be good enough. Never. Bloomberg spokesman Stu Loser said Thursday that the then mayor was saying that something bad. No, he wasn't. He was supporting redlining, ladies and gentlemen. He was supporting it. See, this spokesperson is just another liar, just like Bloomberg. He was supporting it. Okay, I read that part, so I'm going to go down because he knows how important it is to keep people in their homes. I read that part. His spokesperson is full of shit. The financial crisis of 2008 was, in part, caused by banks and financial institutions offering predatory loans, and they mostly did that to Black folks. Okay? The banks, in my opinion, should have never been bailed out for what they did. Now, in a just society, you wouldn't have bailed them out. But in this society, they're going to bail them out because, the whole place is so corrupt. What do you expect? To home buyers and others who were unable to fully pay them back. But blaming part of the collapse on the abolition of redlining runs afoul in many Democratic circles. The same people Bloomberg needs to court in his presidential bid. Exactly. See, Michael Bloomberg, you can't win without the Black vote. None of the Democratic candidates can win without the Black vote. Those white voters that you keep catering to, they can't help you win. It's not enough of them. And I did that in a video. I proved that in a video by showing you white Republicans versus white Democrats. When it comes down to the votes, they could never win if we stepped aside. The Democratic Party would never win another election cycle if Black people did not vote because they just don't have the numbers among the white community. The video resurgence also comes days after comments the former mayor made about controversial stop and frisk policing policies he oversaw in New York were made public, causing consternation from Democratic circles. Let's face it, Michael Bloomberg ran that mayor's office like a white supremacist. He did. And it's all coming out now. He's one of many in this country. See, ladies and gentlemen, when he makes these comments, he's around company that looks just like himself. So that's why he felt comfortable in Aspen, Colorado, speaking about stop and frisk and talking about they were only putting police in the Black and Latino neighborhoods for stop and frisk. He said these things. This stuff came out of his mouth. So you can't come back to us now talking about, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Yes, you did. You meant every word of it. That's why you carried out stop and frisk. Just like you meant every word about redlining, and you spoke very clearly about it at Georgetown University. You didn't stutter, you didn't mince your words, you were very clear. In the audio, reportedly from a 2015 speech in Colorado, Bloomberg also claims 95% of murderers and murder victims are male minorities between ages of 16 to 25. That's what you really believed, and that's what you said. The way they run this country, you would think white males don't commit any crimes, y'all. They don't kill nobody. They don't rape anybody. They don't rob anybody. They don't do anything. They don't carry out corporate crimes. They don't do none of the above. It's just minority males. It's nobody else. And that is the biggest lie they are sitting around telling. You can just take the descriptions and Xerox it and pass it out to all the cops. He can be heard saying Bloomberg apologized for his support of stop and frisk shortly before he announced his presidential bid and reiterated that apology this week. I don't accept his apology. I don't accept his apology. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you should never, ever, ever trust these candidates in the Democratic Party. These are Democrats sitting behind the scenes and hurting us when they get in political office. These are Democrats doing this. Open your eyes and see this party for what it is. The Democratic Party is not for us, ladies and gentlemen in the Black community. They are showing you every day they're not for us. Look at Bernie Sanders. He voted on that crime bill. Elizabeth Warren didn't feel that we were worthy enough for reparations, but she sure gave it to LGBTQ. Pete Buttigieg claimed he's all for helping Black people, but when you look at his track record, he wouldn't even give contracts to Black businesses. And they said he had a horrible rapport with the Black residents in South Bend. Amy Klobuchar put an innocent Black teen in jail for a crime he didn't commit when she was an attorney in Minnesota. So you can't trust. This is what these Democrats are doing to the Black community. Don't close your eyes to this stuff. They're showing you who they are. Michael Bloomberg sat as the mayor, and every step of the way he worked against the Black community there. You can't close your eyes to this stuff. The Democrats are really our enemy. They're just covert about it. And that's the worst kind. Somebody covert. They're your friend in your face, but behind the scenes, they're working against you. That is the worst kind of racist. When you see stuff like this, you really need to rethink even associating with the Democratic Party. You should not even have any more dealings with them if we had any sense. These folks do not get in office and help us. They get in office and they work against us. They make us the enemy. That's all these Democratic candidates are showing you. And Joe Biden, he sounded like a damn Dixiecrat when he was in political office. Every policy he put out was against us. I regret and I have apologized, and it's not good enough. You put so much hurt on people. Verbalizing some apology, y'all need to understand that is never going to suffice. And I have taken responsibility for taking too long to understand the impact it had on Black and Latino communities. Bloomberg said, not good enough. Not good enough. The only reason why you're coming out with that apology is because you want to be the president. It is not even coming from a genuine place. You want something. And you know you need those votes from the very people that you hurt. And I say he shouldn't get those votes. He didn't do a damn thing to earn those votes back then, and he didn't do anything to earn the vote now. Former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro tweeted about Bloomberg's comments on Redlining Wednesday. Hey, at Mike Bloomberg, have you apologized for this too? Castro asked. It's the least you can do. I hope you know how wrong you were. Everyone deserves hashtag fair housing opportunity. No, Bloomberg, I don't even want his apology. What good is it going to do? You know, his apology is not even coming from a genuine place. It's, I want something. I want to be president. So, anything I did in the past, well, I'm sorry. No. Michael Bloomberg. No. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, please tell me what you think of this story. This really should be the beginning of the end of Michael Bloomberg's run for president. Seriously. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.